process across all of our V3 units, but just to make it easier for everybody to see, we're going to shoot this video on this GMLS engine that we have on display. If you purchase your supercharger brand new through us or through one of our distributors, when you receive it, you're going to see that there's a couple warning labels attached to it, and as well as an extra plug. What this is a vent plug. This needs to be installed on the gear case of the supercharger to keep any excessive pressure from building inside the gear case and possibly causing a leak. So what you'll notice is that this plug is attached to another plug on the gear case via the safety wire here. So just go ahead and remove that flat shipping plug and replace it with the provided vent plug. When you remove the shipping plug, you're going to see that it's got its little copper washer attached to it. Go ahead and set that aside and locate your vent plug. We've included a new crush washer, so you can go ahead and just use that one that's included and don't reuse the shipping one. What you're going to want to do is get a 3/16 Allen wrench and get it threaded into the gear case. You don't want to over tighten it so you don't strip the threads, so just make sure it's nice and snug and you should be good. Depending on which supercharger kit it is that you have, you're going to see that the superchargers are sometimes mounted tilted. Driver's side, passenger side, if they're tilted, the rule of thumb is that the fitting closest towards the bottom of the supercharger is always going to be the dipstick. When you go ahead and fill your oil back in, you always want to make sure that the dipstick is always at the bottom of the case. If the supercharger is tilted the other way, it's going to be on this side. So in this case, this is the dipstick, this is your vent. We have some superchargers that are mounted perfectly vertical. If that's the case, you can use either one, but usually we'll have the dipstick on the left side of the tag. Every V3 supercharger that we sell comes with a stainless steel oil drain line attached to it. This is the line that you're going to use to drain the oil in the supercharger. So whenever you install it on your car, just make sure that it's routed towards the bottom of the vehicle so it's easier for you to access. So for this part, you're going to need your 9/16 wrench and a 1/2 inch wrench. What you're going to want to do is get the 9/16 and put that on the hose part of the fitting, and then use your 1/2 inch wrench to take off the plug. These usually aren't super tight, so you can just give it a quick little tug and it should come off. What you want to do is remove this plug and let it drain into whatever oil pan that you use, and make sure that you get all the oil out of there. What I would do is just probably wait a couple minutes just to make sure that it's nice and drained out of there and you don't have any excess sitting inside the supercharger. After all the oil is drained out of the supercharger, just make sure that you put your fitting back into that drain line. You don't have to use any kind of thread sealant, just go ahead and tighten her up and make sure it's nice and snug. So what you'll need to do now is remove the dipstick from the gear case of the supercharger. As I mentioned, in this case, since it's tilted, it's going to be this lower fitting here. Go ahead and remove it. As you can see, there's no oil registering on the hash marks of the dipstick, so you know that it's drained. So we'll go ahead and leave this off and go grab our oil. Our V3 Superchargers uses a synthetic blend of oil that you can only